Okay, so today we're looking at apostrophes for contractions. If you can't remember what an apostrophe looks like, it looks like a comma, but it's floating in the air, like this. By the end of today's video, you will hopefully be able to do two things. Be able to use an apostrophe to show a contracted form, and be able to tell the difference between your and your, the two types, the two spellings. So the first question is, what is a contracted form? Well, in this example, we've got two words. We've got Emma and is. Emma is a name, so it's a proper noun. It needs a capital letter. Is a verb. It's a form of the verb to be. We've got two words. What we can do is squash them together. So instead of saying Emma is, it becomes Emma's. In this example, we've taken out the I and put an apostrophe in its place. Let's put it in a sentence. Here we've got Emma is happy. We've got that proper noun, that name. We've got our verb is, and here in blue we've got an adjective, happy. It's describing Emma. It's describing how she's feeling. If we want to make Emma is into one word, we can use that contracted form. And it becomes Emma's happy. Again, we've taken out that I and we've put an apostrophe in its place to show that there's a missing letter. The same rule applies when we're not using a name. Sometimes, instead of nouns, we use pronouns, like she. So instead of saying Emma, instead of saying the name, we say she instead. Here we've got the pronoun she and the verb is. The verb hasn't changed. The rule stays the same. So we squash the words together and we take out the I and use the apostrophe to show the missing letter. So she is becomes she's. Let's put that into another sentence. She is walking. This sentence is slightly different from the one we looked at before. Here we've got the pronoun and then we've got two verbs together. We call that a verb phrase. Is still a verb, our verb, and walking is a verb as well. We'll look at that in more detail later on. For the moment, what we need to concentrate on is the she and the is. Again, all we do is squash them together and the sentence becomes she's walking. So in this example, the pronoun we are using is I. It's the pronoun we use to talk about ourselves. The verb isn't is anymore. I is doesn't make any sense. So we change that verb to I am. The rule doesn't change. So we've got two words, and if we want to shorten it, we want to squash them together and we replace that A with an apostrophe. And instead of having I am, it becomes I'm. So again, if we look at another sentence, here we've got I am hungry. We've got a pronoun, we've got that verb, and we've got another adjective. The hungry is describing the pronoun. We squash the first two words together and the sentence becomes I'm hungry. Again, you can see that we've taken out that A and replaced it with the apostrophe. Okay, so we've looked at apostrophes and using them to squash two words together. What we're going to look at now is a type of word called a homophone. All this means are words that sound the same but have different spellings and different meanings. You'll see what I mean. Thinking about what we've learned with apostrophes, here we've got the words you and are. They're two words. I want to put the pronoun together with the verb to make that contracted form. We're going to take out the A and we're going to replace it with an apostrophe. So you are becomes your. Now, your sounds the same as another word. In this sentence, you are going home. We've got the pronoun, we've got a verb phrase, and we've got a noun. You are going home becomes you're going home when we use that contracted form. To check that it's the version using the apostrophe, we can say you are going home to ourselves when we read it. This is different from the other spelling of the word your. Here we've got your home is nice. This type of your isn't a contracted form. There's no apostrophe. We can't say you are home is nice. That doesn't make sense. A good way to check if you've got the correct spelling is to check if you can say the words you are in that sentence instead of your. If you can say the words you are, you need an apostrophe. If you can't say the words you are, you probably don't need an apostrophe. Let's have a go at working it out. Which spelling do you think you need for these sentences? Your dog is barking. Think to yourself, can you say you are? You are dog is barking. That doesn't make sense, so it must be the spelling without the apostrophe. Your dog is barking. Well done if you worked it out. Let's have another go. You're angry. Here we can say you are angry. So we use the spelling with the apostrophe. You're angry. The words sound the same, but they mean different things. In the third example, I like your hat. Which spelling do you think it is? In this example, we can't swap the word your for you are. I like you are hat doesn't make any sense. So we use the spelling without the apostrophe. There are some other examples which are similar to the two spellings of your. Here we have the two words who and is. Who is an interrogative pronoun and is that verb again. To turn them into the contracted form, we squash them together, use the apostrophe to replace the I, and we get whose. In this sentence, who is happy, we've got that pronoun, we've got that verb, and we've got an adjective again. If we want to squash our who and our is together, we can, and we get the sentence, who's happy. These contracted forms are often a feature of speech. We tend to use them more when we're speaking than when we're writing. The other form of whose is this one down here. Whose coat is this? In this example, we can't swap the whose for who is. We can only say whose. Who is coat is this doesn't make sense, so we use the spelling without the apostrophe. Okay, now I want to put our new skills into practice. I would like you to do 2 things for me, and if you're feeling really confident, the challenge question would be good to complete as well. For task 1, I would like you to write 1 sentence using the word your, not the contracted version. For the second sentence, I would like you to use that contracted version, the one where we've got the apostrophe. If you're feeling nice and confident using these apostrophes, I would like you to write 1 sentence using the word whose, like whose coat is this, and 1 sentence using the contraction whose, the one that's short for who is, like in who's going to the shops. We could also say who is going to the shops. Have a go and see how you get on.